What is going on, everybody? It is Dylan with Astrodfs, bringing you some bets to take for this year's NFL draft. And we're going to start it off with Miami Dolphins' position of first drafted player. And we're going to go cornerback at plus 190, right? So, am I going to be mad if I lose and they take an offensive lineman? No, because their offensive line is also very much struggling. But as we could take a look, right, of where their offensive line is going into the draft right now, a lot of holes, right? But we go to their cornerback position, and it's even worse, right? They lose Fuller. Jalen Ramsey, it seems like, is going to be traded. I would imagine he does so. But for the odds they're going to get and the offensive linemen that are going to be taken before their pick is up, either they're going to have to trade up or they're going to have to hope somebody falls far enough for him. Otherwise, they're taking somebody really early. I do have a corner falling to him. Now, it probably not going to be Johnson, but I wouldn't be surprised if Miami takes a corner here with the first pick. At plus 190, I don't hate those odds at all. Now, the second bet that I have for you guys is Matthew Golden to be the first wide receiver selected. If there's one guy to really watch on the wide receivers and just get his sense of where teams are looking for as far as route running speed, hands, physicalness, like all of that, go watch Steve Smith and in his content he puts out over wide receivers, and he is getting the idea that Matthew Golden is going to be the first wide receiver taken. And from what he was saying, it doesn't sound like Matthew Golden is better than Tate, but that teams might want to attack Matthew Golden's upside versus Tate's. Kind of, you almost know what you're going to get out of him. So Matthew Golden at plus 120. Now, I got him at plus 150. FanDuel, I believe, has it at plus 150 right now. But on DraftKings, it's plus 120. In the third bet that I have for you guys, this one is going to be a hot take. But I'm going to go with Ashton Jeanty over 6.5 for the draft position at plus 210. Now, I like Ashton Jeanty, right? Do I think the Raiders take Ashton Jeanty? No. They could take him, and it's not a bad pick, right? It's not bad having someone like Ashton Jeanty to where you have on your franchise for the next 5+ years, right? And you have a good rookie contract for the running back. And that's one position you shouldn't have to worry about unless health concerns happen. But he's going to be a good running back at the bare minimum. Now, I do think the Raiders' offensive line could use a little more buffing up with having someone like Geno Smith there. It's a whole new coaching staff, right? We're not having the same one. Granted, I do think the Raiders are going to take a running back in this draft. If it's me, I'm taking a running back in the third round, fourth round, where you know there's going to be a good amount of good running backs, right? They're not going to be to the same caliber of Ashton Jeanty, but someone like Cam Scadaboo, I love him. That's where he's projecting is going in the third or fourth round. If you want someone that fits Ashton Jeanty's role, Cam Scadaboo, it fits a lot of those same boxes that Jeanty does, right? Just Jeanty does it a little better. But if you want that same type of play style, go Scadaboo, upgrade your offensive line, and kill two birds with one stone, because the talent that's at the offensive line position in the top of the draft seems really, really good, right? Getting Membu at 6, right, just helps your offensive line. It helps with the new offensive coordinator. Obviously, Geno Smith is there. But when you have, as of right now, Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers, you could possibly say Trey Tucker. You're going to need to solidify that offensive line a little more. Obviously, there's players they can easily bring in through free agency. A lot of good name wide receivers and possibly other running backs, right? Like Nick Chubb is still available. I think Nick Chubb is a fine running back to kind of fit in your team for 1 year until you get somebody better, obviously. But Ashton Jeanty, I just want to take that risk of the Raiders passing up on Jeanty. Obviously, then, Membu is the same thing, under 6.5. Maybe a team like Jacksonville gets desperate. the Raiders. That's kind of where I have it at. So at plus 210, I have Ashton Genty over 6.5 for the draft position. All right, and then the last pick that I have for you guys for this draft at plus 100, Carolina Panthers position, first drafted player being defensive line / edge. Now this one, I am taking a chance in saying that I think Carolina may trade up to the number 3 pick to get Abdul Carter. Now, they don't have their original second pick. That's to the Bears. I get it. But when you consider that Carolina traded Burns to the Giants to get their second pick, it's very much a possibility that Carolina goes after Abdul Carter instead of settling for just a tier down in edge, right? They get to basically pick whatever edge they want in this draft besides Abdul Carter, where they're sitting at. But, who are the Giants? Are the Giants going to get rid of Thibodeau then? Because you're going to have to move somebody in a position they're not as comfortable with if you're drafting Abdul Carter, right? Their defensive line is already really good. If Thibodeau can progress, it'll be that much better. If you draft Abdul Carter, that defensive line is scary, but someone's going to be in a different position that they're not as comfortable with. So I do think Carolina could trade up to number 3. If not, they have their defense needs upgrades. They have a lot of choices on who they want to get with it. If they were to go a linebacker and kind of improve that, obviously they've lost a lot of their key pieces on defense just with age. So I would understand linebacker at plus 150, but I'm going to take the chance and say Carolina is trading up to number 3 to get Abdul Carter. So I have Carolina at plus 100 right now going after that. So hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I will have off-season content going out for Dynasty and Fantasy, so check that out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.